The threat of that government shutdown looms. Lawmakers are still struggling to find a compromise on border funding ahead of the Friday deadline to keep the government open. Now, on Sunday Morning Futures, I spoke with South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham and Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan about this fight over border money. I'm wondering what her answer is when people say, look, you've got a wall in your own state. You've said walls are immoral. Then why do you have a wall separating San Diego from Tijuana? And why wasn't one of your first priorities to tear that wall down?
In AOC's world, the ICE agents are the problem, not the illegal immigrant. Reducing bed spaces, it makes no sense if you believe violence is a problem coming across the border. And this idea that we don't need a wall because it's immoral, most Americans are not going to go there.
To me, it's about securing the border in the most appropriate and efficient way. I don't think the border wall is immoral. I just think it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Joining me right now is Tennessee Congressman and House Homeland Security Committee member, Dr. Mark Green. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks for having me on the show.
Can you give us whatever you know from the committee in terms of where we are right now with these border talks?
Yeah, it's pretty much stalled because of these new demands from the Democrats. Obviously, we need the border security. They're not interested in border security. They want an open border, and this is just another curveball from those guys.
So they're saying that they want the president to commit to a decline in the number of beds at ICE detention centers.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of all of this?
Well, it's very clear that their agenda is no wall. I mean, they do not want they don't want to win for the president. Essentially, this is 2020 politics, and they don't want to win for the president. And they're going to keep disrupting. They want to force the president's hand on the national emergency because they think they can then tie that up in the courts. It's all about 2020. They don't care about protecting Americans, our people. I mean, that's clear. So. Well,
they say that they do. They say that they want border security, but they want it in different ways. They want it through technology and drones, et cetera. But the president has said, by the way, they said that, but they didn't vote for Kate's law. They didn't vote for ending sanctuary cities, and they're not voting for a wall, obviously. But the president keeps saying, look, this wall will be built, that he's expecting 115 miles built over a short-term period. So where else can he get the money? Can you talk to us about the agencies where money might exist that the president can use?
Sure, and this is the issue with those of us who, for example, I'm a veteran. I served in the military, and DOD has money out there that is committed for contracts, but those contracts haven't been signed yet. So those dollars are available for him to take and then use for, border wall construction.
How much money are we talking about? How much money is available to him?
Yeah, I've heard varying figures, as high as $500 million. It's not a lot of money, but it's there, and that's certainly a resource for him.
Yeah, that's about the amount that there is also confiscated drug money. So if he could patch this money together, Lee Carter.
Well, the El Chapo bill, Maria, that's a great, here's $14 billion seized from this guy. We could use this on the border.
Wow.
I mean, the reason we're not is just, it makes no sense.
Now, I'm just curious, if this, what the Democrats are proposing is off the table right now, and they're saying there's no way we're going to reduce the number of beds, we want the wall. Are there any concessions? Is there anything that they're willing to negotiate, or that on either side, that the inside seem to be willing to budge on?
I think the president has shown multiple attempts to negotiate. And every time they come up with another reason not to agree or some other fact or, it's ridiculous. I think they're just stalling. I mean, really, I'm not sure they're very interested in making a deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wonder if this is going to hurt them in the 2020 election. People see through it, right? I mean, I mentioned a minute ago that there is a wall in Nancy Pelosi's state. How come people are not pushing her on that? The fact that we know that wall has actually worked.
Yeah. It's not immoral for me to lock my house and protect my family.
Yeah.
It is not immoral. And Americans know this. So I think they're miscalculated.
Yeah. Let me ask you about this outrage in Congress, what went on this weekend. Freshman Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar under fire this morning for accusing a lobbying group of bribing members of Congress to support Israel. She claimed in a tweet that the American Israel Public Affairs Committee pays American politicians to be pro-Israel. Her claim has drawn criticism from both sides of the aisle. Chelsea Clinton even got involved. Nikki Haley spoke out against her as well. She taunted Kevin McCarthy, I guess, because he's very supportive of Israel.
Sure.
What's your take?
Well, I went to the Middle East as a special operator. I know that Israel is a stabilizing force. They're the only democracy in the Middle East. It's ridiculous to suggest that we're taking bribes to support Israel. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a bigoted statement, and I agree with Chairwoman Cheney. We need to kick her off of foreign affairs. She doesn't need to be on that committee.
So will that happen? I mean, isn't that up to Nancy Pelosi?
Sure, of course, but we can certainly petition her.
And, you know, let me say that there's also anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism going on in Germany as well. I've got sources telling me that Rick Grinnell, our ambassador, has gotten a death threat notice. They sent a letter to the embassy. So there's real worry about this increasing anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism in Germany, not just in the U.S. in terms of anti-Semitism. Have things gotten worse on that front?
You know, I'm watching the Democrat Party in America. That shocks me. When you have these kinds of comments and they're not speaking up, I mean, for years that's been a problem. Louis Farrakhan calls Jewish people rats, and no one on the Democrat side wants to speak against that. I mean, it's really bad and sad.
Congressman Mitch Rochelle, just to build on that point, if the shoe was on the other foot and any sort of insensitive comment had been made by a Republican, I think there would be more outrage on the other side. Why is that there isn't more outrage, you know, right now on Monday after a comment was made over the weekend?
I don't understand. I mean, I really can't answer your question, and you're absolutely right. If we heard that on our side, we would shut that down.
Yeah, I mean, you also have, by the way, Ralph Northam in Virginia refusing to go. A lot of his colleagues are saying, we want you out, but are they being aggressive enough in terms of pushing him out? Because if this were on the Republican side, it would be media 24/7, it would be protesters.
Absolutely. It's really, it just shows the insensitivity of the Democrat Party right now. And his statements that he made before all of the news broke about the blackface and stuff like that, about delivering a baby and then making a choice. I mean, it's horrific. The Democrat Party is defining itself, and I think a lot of Americans are saying, wait a minute, this is crazy.
That really was horrific, actually. Congressman, It's good to see you this morning.
Thanks for
so
having
much.
me on.
Dr. Mark Green joining us this morning.